Came in to buy Stella people. Literally got a basket, about to buy 5 bags. These are small ones. Second ingredient on this thing, unfortunately, is peas and lentils. Just gonna do it. Can't do it. I know better. If you know anything about lentils, off the time, lentils have lectin in it. Lectin is one of those things that is very difficult for even us to digest, which is why we get gassy and crappy, if you would, at times after eating beans. Lentils are beans. When it says grain-free, they add other things to keep the food compact, compressed, so that it actually sticks together. Because it's not a meat patty that they're making. They're compiling a bunch of stuff on this stuff to make sure that it lasts. And anything that has preservatives is not healthy for anybody. So I'm going to have to go the other route, the final route, which is back to the original plan. This dog food ain't it, man. People, Tifa here with Fitbully TV. Listen, you started this video off with the clip, original clip from me being in the store, and so I just can't do it. That being said, that says about 280, right? You can see that. Okay. So what we got here? Tilapia, chicken thighs. Costco literally didn't have no chicken breasts. No doggone chicken breasts. So I'm in the store, can of green beans. We got the cottage cheese. We've got the cottage cheese, Greek yogurt. I've got some fruits, blueberries, vegetables, antioxidants. And what I'm doing is I'm going to cook the chicken. I'm gonna cook the chicken thighs. Technically, it was gonna be chicken breast. Both of them are lean meats. Lean meats allow for more absorption, more utilization. Eco's got a pretty bad rash, and I believe it's due to the food. A lot of times it is due to the food. He's not a pit bull, to be clear. But we know that pits break out in hives, and normally those allergies start as early in the first year when they get allergic to specific foods. We'll get more in detail about food. And again, people, why do I keep harping on nutrition? The only thing more expensive than these dogs is taking care of them. And the one thing that you're going to come in contact with or come across along your journey of trying to do the best you can for your bully is the health issues. The health issues are coming, and some of those are induced to the lack of education and information. And I believe, because for a fact, because as I said, I lived in the nutrition side, that if your dog, if we as people have the right resources, food, things that make up who we are biologically, as far as resources are concerned, aka food, we begin to heal ourselves. If you ever drink milk and get inflamed, it doesn't feel good. If you ever eat red meat and you get shitty or crappy, or you feel like you're burning up, it doesn't feel good. So what am I doing? I'm mixing and matching some food for Eco and Tron. They'll have a mixture of fish with a couple things of red meat here and there. Red meat's one of those meats that heats us up. If you ever eat red meat, you eat a steak and break it to a sweat because the body works so hard to break it down. It's definitely not one of the best sources of protein, but it actually does a lot for the body. That being said, I'm putting chicken, fish, and red meat. This is what it looks like. It's the stew. Let me see how long this lasts. So whatever day this is, when it says, look at the date here. It's the 19th. I'll tell you and do another video when all this is gone. And mind you, there's a freezer full of stuff too, because it's $280 worth of stuff, and all of it is literally packages of thighs, a can of green beans. I'll split a can of green beans between Eco and Tron. Give them a scoop of yogurt. Give them a scoop of cottage cheese. I'll give them some eggs. I'll either poach some of the eggs or literally crack the eggs raw. You watch the video on the best source of protein, period, is the egg. Stay tuned, because what we're going to do, hopefully, is watch this boy's body begin to heal itself, his inflammation reduce, the quality of his life go back to where it was, because he isn't wrong. Guess what, guys? I'm only throwing numbers out there because this stuff is expensive, and I get it. I get it. But in my opinion, you shouldn't have a dog if you can't afford it. That being said, I also got $500+ worth of raw food already from a couple months ago now in the fridge, because we're going to go back there for a little bit specific to Ego. So with him and Tron, I'm going to cook the fish, I'm going to cook the chicken thighs, and then I'm going to give them raw chicken legs, to be clear, with green beans and a bunch of it. They'll eat one time a day. When you maximize the nutrients, aka the nutrition your dog needs, the dog grows faster. When you put a bunch of bullshit in your body just keeps eating it. And think of it this way. You eat a cup of oatmeal, you'd be like, man, I can't eat 4 or 5 cups of oatmeal because you're full. The body got everything it needs. When you eat 8 double cheeseburgers, it's like eating air. Body has no clue what to do with it. So it doesn't necessarily store it. It's like hanging out in the body. It's not a resource. You got energy, but it's not good energy. And we want to put good energy in our dogs because that's all calories are. So how many calories, as we talked about before, should your dog have in each one of its meals, or total in a day? Well, it says 1 gram of protein per pound. Ego is definitely 80 pounds. So we'll break that down. I'm gonna get a scale. It's on its way, and we're gonna measure out exactly what a meal looks like for a dog that is 80 pounds. Now, this is based on an inactive dog. They don't have a lot of information out there for working dogs, and this dog does 2 miles. This dog trains every day. This dog plays every day in this Texas heat. He's at it and on it. So do I give him 1 gram or do I give him 2 grams? Especially if he's only eating once a day. He's getting at least 1.5 to 2 grams of protein per pound a day, to be clear. And we're going to watch, hopefully, his body continue or get back to just being healthier. And him being, I mean, he's already a happy dog, but even him being happier. And he wants to play, but now he literally can't do things due to the frustration. So, red meat. I'll tell you what all these things do in another video. Fish and chicken combined. Why? Some people say, well, shouldn't you just feed him one thing? People, it's a myth. It's a myth that your dog's supposed to eat the one thing for the rest of his life. One bag, this bag of dog food forever. Would you enjoy eating the one thing for the rest of your life? Hell no. That being said, every one of these different meats yields a different result. If you combine them, they solve for problems, prevent issues, and boost, aka influence progress, real progress in your dog's life. And I know the benefits of all these things. When I do a harder day, if I really want to, I'm not a red meat guy, but on a leg day, that red meat, what does it do? It acts like a casein. It takes a lot longer to break down, which means the protein production is going to take a little bit longer, so it's going to help with muscle recovery a little bit more. And red meat does what? It helps with boosting the immunity. See what I'm saying? And go look this stuff up. Fish. Oh man, especially tilapia. It's the scum of the sea, but it's a lean fish. And actually, if you feed it to your dog, it'll help with overweight dogs. Because fish, it always feels refreshing, right? So it's always light. You'll never feel strung out after eating some fish. You're like, whoo, that felt good. Doesn't do too much to you. And chicken. Chicken's another thing. As long as you ain't cooking it in cheese and butter, then you normally feel relatively good as well. Be careful with the fats on all of your meats, especially if you're feeding raw. And because every meat comes with fat, but like the fat on a chicken, for instance, that's where a lot of the toxins and stuff are. And the dog can survive it, but still, just food for thought. Red meat is kind of already built in, so they'll survive a little bit more. We'll get into more details of the fat in the chicken versus the red meat. But again, in every meal for the next week at least, they will have red meat, fish, chicken, a chicken bone or 2 chicken bones, half a can of green beans split between 2, cottage cheese, yogurt, and some blueberries in every meal over the next week, if not 2. It's about $280 between 2 dogs, specifically Tron and Ego. And stay tuned, like, subscribe, hit comments if you've got questions. This isn't over. We're going to continue to show you what we're doing and how to do better by your dog.